Okay, students, I hope you are all well and healthy and ready to learn new things. So, my name is Palak Patel. I am working in the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari, in Civil Engineering Department. I am going to teach you the subject is Civil Engineering, Social and Global Impact. In this lecture, we will cover Introduction, Module 1. In this chapter, we have a content like pre-industrial revolution day, industrial revolution, agriculture revolution, IT revolution, major civil engineering project, present and future, ecosystem, sustainability, global warming, GIS, human development index, and ecological footprint. So this chapter is covered in parts. Today is the first part, which is industrial revolution. First industrial revolution occurs in 1750 to 1850. First industrial revolution in 1750 to 1850. Pre-industrial is a time before there were machines and tools to help perform tasks in a mass. What, how life are different before industrial revolution start means pre-industrial revolution. Pre-industrial revolution means before industrial revolution start. So which type of social structure we have, like limited production, agriculture, economy, limited division of labor, limited variation of social classes peasant and lords. Okay, population grow are very less, level of living are subsistence, population depends on peasant for food, people are located in village rather than in cities. After economic activity, so most activity during the pre-industrial age is existent at a subsistence level in which goods are produced for the consumption and survival of one's family. Farmer give food for his family, not to sell at a market. Means in the pre-industrial revolution time, farmer is not selling, was not selling a good in a market. They only produce a food for the consumption for own family. Right? Then after some various classes before pre-industrial revolution like hunter and gatherer, pastoralists looking like livestock, shifting cultivators, intensive agriculture. These details are not too much important for the exam, but we need to study. Just read it out, okay? Pre-industrial society in Europe. Pre-industrial society in Europe. Almost all the people lived and worked in the country. Okay? Families live on a small plots of land and growing crops mostly for a home consumption, not to sell in the market. Children learn to milk cow, butter, and tends to farm animals. Most of English diet consists mostly bread and very less meat. Okay, the English diet they are mostly eating a bread. Europeans ate few fruits or vegetable, believing they could cause disease and depression. They could cause disease and depression. In the Europe, most people are illiterate. They are not too much educated. The idea of healthcare was that physical suffering from an illness was a God's divine way to purify the soul. Population not grow very much because there are poverty, war, plague, and poor hygienic result. Then okay, so death rate is very high there, right? 25% of newborn children died before their first birthday and another 25 died before 10th. Okay, which type of disease they have? Influenza, typhoid fever, then plague. Okay, most people have little or no savings for money. They don't did not save anything for the future. They don't, I can say they can't save anything for the future because their economy is not too much high. Okay, they grow the food for their consumption only and depend on agriculture, not industry are there. So how industrial revolution start? Okay, pre-industrial society in India. So pre-industrial society in India is very simple. Very simple. There is a barter system. You know, one thing to other another thing. There is no coinage, no coins, no currency notes. There is a barter system. One thing for the another. Pre-industrial society was agriculture and mercantilistic. People live very simple life. Their need and necessity were not very complex. Work in a spirit of fellow feelings and that of giving and take. Right? In a society believe in a god, Indra, Varun, Surya and Agni. Worship nature. Worship nature. And temples and priest had a role in the society because priests are going to make a rules for the humans, right? So temples and priest has a very high role in a society. So this is a we discuss about pre-industrial revolution day. This is not too much important, but industrial revolution this is important. How industrial revolution start? How Europe and United States industrial revolution started there. The period from 1760 to sometimes between 1820 to 1840. Okay, there is no fixed date, not a fixed year where industrial revolution start, but I can say industrial revolution start because some minor invention like steam engine here you can see it's a steam engine. It's a steam engine. So we invent a steam engine and try to using it in an industry, right? And we invent iron. We discover how to melt iron by using coal and make this type of machinery. So by these two inventions, steam engine and iron making, industrial revolution start. Okay. So first industrial revolution, textile were dominant industry. Textile was dominant industry in terms of employment and value of output. Development of trade and the rise of business were among the major causes of industrial revolution. Industrial revolution was that a standard of living for the general population in a western world. And the GDP per capita was broadly stable before the industrial revolution and the emergence of the modern capitalistic economy. Right? Then after second industrial revolution. So in this chapter we learn a three industrial revolution, first, second and third. First and second mostly nearer to each other. In the first industrial revolution we discover steam engine and iron. But the second industrial revolution we discover steel. Right? We discover steel. And mass production started. Assembly line was invented. And assembly line means this. This is called an assembly line. So assembly line invented. And electrical grid system also introduced. advanced machinery in steam power factory. We learn how to use steam power to generate electricity. To generate electricity. Second industrial revolution. There is some minor changes in the second industrial revolution, like we invent in a railway. We invest in a railway. We know how to use steam power on the road for the running vehicles. Right? And the first industrial revolution is in Europe and United States, but second industrial revolution is Germany, Russia, and United States. Right? Here is a photograph. You can see there is a first industrial revolution. We invented steam and water power. Steam and water power. Right? Second industrial revolution, we discover electricity. And third, IT and electronics. And fourth, physical, digital, biological. Right? So it's a fourth industrial revolution. This fourth industrial revolution is depend on the industry which impact on the industrial working. Okay, so before first industrial revolution we use the hand tools, right? Hand tools. But after first industrial revolution we are going to use steam power machinery. And the second industrial revolution we use electricity for the mass production. In industry, we are talking about industry. And the third industrial revolution, we use IT and electronics. IT and electronics item in the industry for the working. And the fourth, we use robotics, artificial intelligence. Okay, so these are the fourth industrial revolution, and these four industrial revolution changes in a human life. Right? We will discuss this later. But first we understand how industrial revolution works. The first textile we introduce a power loom. We invent a power loom. Power loom is used for the textile industry. Okay. Then after steam power, we discuss it. Invention of machine tools. We are going to use new machines too, like screw cutting lathe, cylindrical boring machine, milling machine. Okay. Iron making. We are going to use iron making for the using coke or charcoal generated over the fuel. And we invent a cement in 1824. Joseph Espadin. They are invented a cement, and cement is a very important material for the building industry. Then after agriculture in the changing, we have a seed drill, Dutch plough. So this type of agriculture industry is affected because we are going to use some machines in agriculture. Right? Transportation we use a wagon way, conveying coal to river from further shipment. Right? Of historical development and industrial revolution in India. Historical development of industrial revolution in India. First and second industrial revolution did not affect in India too much high level because it started in a western part like Europe, United States, Germany. But this little big effect on India. Why? Because Britishers rule on India. So Britishers brought about most important transformation in India's agriculture economy. Okay. But this not improve Indian agriculture and ensure the welfare and prosperity of the Indian. Means industrial revolution will not affect on the Indian agriculture condition. Like Britishers rule on India, so the land, revenue and surplus available agriculture product, they consumed by Britishers. Because textile industry too high, textile industry dominant, so they need a cotton. And where they grow cotton? Cotton in the Indian agriculture. So Indian farmer grow cotton and then after Britishers buy it so lower price, right? Then after no Indian agriculture will be improved. There is no effect on the Indian agriculture because of industrial revolution. Nothing. No doubt India underwent under the impact of colonial economy. The Industrial Revolution finally came to India in 1854 when the first steam power cotton mill in Asia opened in Bombay. First steam power cotton mill in 1854 in Bombay. Okay, growth was slow because then the Britishers rule. Okay, so growth is very slow. Now we are going to industrialization in colonial period in India. Colonial period means in a British. So British rules was decline and destruction and urban rural handicraft industry. The British rule handicraft industry which work in India, handicraft industry which running in India, they are destroyed, they are destruction. Why? Because beginning of 20th century there is only four industry which is in working in India like cotton industry, jute industry, coal mining and tea plantation. And these all four are running by Britishers. So by these four industry, our Indian handicraft industry, which is working in the rural and urban area, is will destroy and decline. Other minor industry we have like cotton presses, rice flour, timber mills, leather tanneries, woolen textile, paper, petroleum, iron mines. So this industry almost running by Britishers. Most of the industry running by Britishers. There is no Indian industry. Now India is running everything to slowly is underwent a commercial transportation and not an industrial revolution. Britishers were not eager to lay the foundation for an industrial revolution. Britishers did not want to foundation for industrial revolution. They don't want industrial revolution come in India. Right? So there is a two conditions. First condition, the modern industry that did develop were controlled by a foreign capitalistic. Right? Foreign capitalistic means foreigners control it, means Britishers control it. And second, this phase was steady and continuous, but it was extremely slow. Industrial process during this phase was steady and continuous, but is extremely slow. But there was a complete absence of heavy capital goods and capital industry which developed in India like textile industry. Heavy capital goods, right? Britishers were not interested to establish an independent industrial capitalistic economy, but need to transform India into a dependent and undeveloped colonial economy. The colonialism had become a major cause of India's economic, social and cultural and political backwardness. By a colonialism, by British rules, India economic, social, cultural and political backwardness because of British rule. Because Britishers did not want to invest in India because they want India to be become a dependent or underdeveloped because they want to rule on India as long as possible. Okay, but there is some minor industry where Indian workers work, but they live under highly unsatisfied condition. There is no provision for their hours of work. Okay, they live like a house like animals without light, air and water. In their Indian workers' house, there is no light, no air, and no water. Right? And this type of condition become rebellion. Like this is not a part of the chapter, but you can understand how they become rebellion. Contemporary industry of France, Germany, and Japan were developed with active and massive government help. Active and massive government help. But this type of help is not given by Britishers for develop Indian capitalistic. And during non-corporation movement and Swadeshi movement, Indian capitalists under the leadership of Congress leader tried to rejuvenate the Indian cotton industry and ventured to establish certain industry in the tone of spirit and inspiration of the movement. During non-corporation movement and Swadeshi movement, this industry which is controlled by Britishers, Indian try to control by themselves. Right? Industrialization in colonial period, there is some drain of wealth. Means wealth moving from India to Britain. Wealth means money. By a gift, by a loan, by a trade, by a railway, by military training, by postal service, and many more things. By these things, Indian money which brought which transfer from India to Britain without any noticing. By a gift, by a trade, by a loan, by a railway. Okay? A strike in Bombay mills protest the extension of working hours. Series of strikes in the railway, in government press in Calcutta and Swadeshi movement launch in Bengal in 1905. Non-corporation movement launched by Gandhiji during 1921 and formation of Ahmedabad Textile Association. The worker lived in a very unhighly unsatisfied condition. So by this pressure, by this unhygienic condition or unregulated movement, the rebellion start. Non-corporation movement and Swadeshi movement start. And this anger which is inside the Indian worker, which become non-corporation movement to the high level. Now, after independence, Indian National Trade Union of Congress is established by a leading Congress ministers and trade union workers in New Delhi, chairmanship by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Right? So this one party is established like Indian National Trade Union Congress. Okay. Objective is this party's objective is to establish just industrial relations. Establish just industrial relations. Okay. In the first, we understand there is a industry is a Britain industry. In the industrialization colonial period, there is a British industry. They not give any type of freedom to the workers. Okay. After independence, if they don't get what they want, like freedom, minimum working hours, some type of living condition, if Indian worker did not get this, they will again strike. That's why this party is established. Indian National Trade Union Congress, INTUC. Right? They foster the spirit of solidarity, service brotherhood, cooperation, and mutual help among the workers. Workers a sense of responsibility towards industry and community. to raise the workers' standard of efficiency and discipline, to ensure full employment. These are the objective. Okay. The second political party is Hind Mazdoor Sabha in 1948. This political party is established by a socialist leader who separated from the Indian National Congress. Same objective. Okay. So these are the industrial colonial period in India is, and in the next lecture we will discuss agriculture revolution, agriculture revolution and green revolution. Okay. Take care. When head is full of fear, has no space for the dream.